Let's discuss about DNA replication. As DNA molecule regulates and control all the activities of the cell, so it is called as the master of the cell. Yes, when the cell reproduces, the DNA should also duplicate itself to distribute equally to the daughter cell. As we know about the Watson and Crick, they themselves had specific idea about DNA replication, and these ideas were based on the structure of DNA molecules. In particular, the duo hypothesized that replication occur in a semi-conservative fashion. So, as a carrier of genetic information, DNA has to perform two important functions, that is heterocatalytic and autocatalytic. So what is heterocatalytic function? When DNA directs the synthesis of chemical molecules other than itself, then such function of DNA are called as heterocatalytic function. For example, synthesis of RNA, synthesis of protein, yes, transcription and translation. Now next is autocatalytic function. When DNA directs the synthesis of DNA itself, such function of DNA is called as autocatalytic function. For example, replication, that we are going to discuss here. The process by which DNA duplicates itself, that is called as replication, and through replication it forms two copies that are identical to it. In eukaryotic organism, replication of DNA takes place only once in a cell cycle. Yes, and it occurs in the S phase of interphase in the cell cycle. DNA replicates through semi-conservative mode of replication, as we know. Now, the model of semi-conservative replication, it was proposed by Watson and Crick on the basis of anti-parallel and complementary nature of DNA strand. And the process of semi-conservative replication now we are going to discuss in different steps. So let's see the process of DNA replication. So here we are going to discuss about the steps of DNA replication. So initially the first step is what? The activation of nucleotides. So 4 types of nucleotides are present in the nucleoplasma. Yes, and here in the first step they are activated by ATP in presence of the enzyme phosphorylase, and this results in the formation of deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates, that is DATP, DGTP, DCTP and DTTP, and this process is known as phosphorylation. So what is this DATP? That is deoxyadenosine triphosphate. DGTP, deoxyguanosine triphosphate. Likewise here DCTP, deoxycytosine triphosphate, and here deoxythymine triphosphate. Next is what? The point of origin or initiation point. So opening or unwinding of double helix always at the origin. So that origin is what called as initiation point. As the DNA replication begin always at certain specific sites and that are situated on the molecules, and such sites are what? The origin point. Next we can see here unwinding of DNA molecules. So here we will have a set of enzyme which will come into action and open the strand. So unwind the DNA, that enzyme that helps to unwind the DNA and start the complete process of replication. So here this separation of the strand is done by DNA unwinding protein, that is helicase enzyme. Now the DNA molecules appears like Y-shaped structure. Yes, that is called as replicating fork, and the separated strand are prevented from coiling by SSBP, that is single strand DNA binding protein. Because of this protein, the coiling is prevented of the separated strand, and this is also called as helix destabilizing proteins. So we can see here replication fork is formed. So this is the replication fork, and now the synthesis of new strand takes place. And here now you can see each strand, separated strand, act as a template or molds for the synthesis of the new strand, and it takes place with the help of a small molecule that is called as RNA primer. So here synthesis of this RNA primer, that is controlled by the enzyme RNA primase, and then it gets attached at the third end of the template strand. So RNA primer then attracts complementary nucleotides from the surrounding nucleoplasma, and then it occurs under the influence of the enzyme DNA polymerase. So the new complementary nucleotides that are arranged on this strand to build a strand in the 5 to 3 direction. So this is about what? The synthesis of new strand, where the new complementary strand is always formed in 5 to 3 direction, and here different enzymes which are involved, that is RNA primase and DNA polymerase. Next we will see here leading and lagging strands. So DNA polymerase catalyzes polymerization only in one direction, that is 5' to 3' direction. Consequently, on one strand, if you see on one strand, the replication is continuous. You can see this strand. Replication is continuous, while on the other strand it is discontinuous. It is in the form of small fragments. Yes, so the strand which open from 3rd to 5', that is called as leading template. Yes, and its complementary strand, that is leading strand. This one is leading strand. It is constructed continuously at very faster rate. The other strand which open from 5 to 3', you can see here this is 5 to 3', that is called as lagging template, and its complementary strand, that is called as lagging strand. This is lagging strand. It is constructed discontinuously, and that too at slower rate. The lagging strand is constructed in the form of short fragments. You can see here short fragments are seen, and these such fragments are in 5 to 3 direction and are called as Okazaki fragments, which are later joined by the enzyme DNA ligase. Here each Okazaki fragments needs one RNA primer. Yes, so later the RNA primer is removed by the enzyme RNase, and then in this way here leading and lagging strand is formed. So here we are done with the leading and lagging strand. After that, this maturation of Okazaki fragments takes place, where the DNA synthesis in lagging strand that takes place in the form of small fragments. We are done with Okazaki fragments. So RNA primer are removed by DNA polymerase and replaced by DNA sequence with the help of DNA polymerase 1, that is in prokaryotes, and in case of eukaryotes it is replaced by DNA polymerase alpha, that is exonuclease. So finally DNA gyrase, also known as topoisomerase enzyme, that forms double helix to form daughter DNA molecules. Now in the last step, as we know here, the formation of daughter DNA molecules. So in this way here, for each old strand a new complementary strand is constructed. So simultaneously both the strand, new and old, they undergo coiling and two identical daughter molecules are formed at the end of the process. So after replication, each DNA molecule has one old and one new strand. Yes, so it shows 50% is contributed by mother DNA. So we can say 50% old parental and 50% newly constructed. So hence the process is referred to as semi-conservative replication. If we will see in prokaryotes, in prokaryotes, the DNA is circular. Here circular DNA is present in case of prokaryotes. So there is only one origin. Yes, and the replication is called as theta replication, as it looks like the theta, which is the Greek letter. So it is called as theta replication in prokaryotes. So in this way we had done with semi-conservative replication of DNA. Now I will show you one 3D animation video. With that you will understand much better about the semi-conservative replication of DNA, where different enzymes also takes place. So here just watch the 3D animation video. DNA replication. DNA is a molecule made up of two strands twisted around each other in a double helix shape. Each strand is made up of sequence of 4 chemical bases represented by A, C, G and T. The two strands are complementary. This means that wherever there is T on the one strand, there will be A in the opposite strand, and wherever there is C, there will be G on the other strand. Each strand has a 5' end and a 3' end. The two strands one in opposite directions. This determines that how each strand of DNA is replicated. The first step in DNA replication is to separate the two strands. This unzipping is done by an enzyme called as helicase, and the result in the formation of replication fork. The separated strand each provided a template for creating a new strand of DNA. An enzyme called primase starts the process. This enzyme makes a small piece of RNA called the primer, that is RNA primer. This marks the starting point for the construction of new strand of DNA. An enzyme called DNA polymerase binds the primer and will make the new strand of DNA. DNA polymerase can only add DNA bases in one direction, from the 5' end to the 3' end. One of the new strand of DNA, the leading strand, is made continuously. The DNA polymerase adding bases one by one in 5' to the 3' direction. The other strand, the lagging strand, cannot be made in continuous way because it runs in the opposite direction. The DNA polymerase can effort only to make this strand in a series of smooth chunks called as Okazaki fragments. Each strand is started with the RNA primer. The DNA polymerase then adds a short DNA bases in a 5' to 3' direction. The next primer is then added further down in the lagging strand. Another Okazaki fragment is then made. In the process is repeated again and again. So once the new DNA has been made, the enzyme exonuclease removes all the RNA primer from both the strands of DNA. Another DNA polymerase enzyme then fills the gap that are left behind the DNA. Finally, the enzyme DNA ligase seals up the fragments of DNA in both strands to form a continuous double strand. So DNA replication is described as semi-conservative because each DNA molecule is made up of an old conserved strand of DNA and a new one. as we know about the semi-conservative replication of DNA, so here replicated DNA contains one old and one new strand, hence the name semi-conservative. But this replication was not accepted initially when put forth by Watson and Crick. So however, one of the most amazing experiment in biology named the Michelson and Stahl experiment helps to crack this mystery. So two geneticists, Matthew Michelson and Franklin Stahl, they carried out an experiment around 1958. They used a heavy isotope of nitrogen and inserted it into the DNA of bacterium E. coli, that is Escherichia coli. They obtained several generations of E. coli and analyzed each for the presence of DNA. So this results help them to understand that the replication of DNA in E. coli is indeed semi-conservative. So this is how DNA replication takes place in almost all the organisms. So here we understand about the semi-conservative replication of DNA and the Michelson and Stahl's experiment.